thought I'd take a moment to talk about what humanity first really means to me and the philosophy of that I picked up kind of through various internet circles, but each one, reach one, teach one. That if each and every person, especially those of us who are part of the Humanity First movement, makes it our goal to reach out to other people that we know may have a similar mindset and may be, like as previously described, yang curious types of people who want to make the world a better place, but they're not quite sure how to get started. So, like in that process, if we are the change that we wish to see in the world, then each person that we reach out to and that we yang, it seems pretty straightforward that they will then in turn reach out to other people that they're connected to, because this movement needs to be mutative, and that's where some of my concepts and ideas for memetics and hashtags of specific thoughts and ideas, specifically the Yang Legion and the UBI now hashtags, as I'll further expound upon the importance of how we can't wait 4 more years into 2024 for viable UBI. Like the the situation like has been going on since Trump got elected, and so it's been almost 4 years now that there's been no real work done to remedy the issues with the uh, fallen status of like society. Like, not to be too over dramatic, but the thought and idea that people just can't dig themselves out, that we're just trying to scurry paycheck to paycheck to keep the rent paid and keep the lights on and keep food in the cupboards and living off the dollar menu at our favorite corporate sponsored food shops. Like, so, like, is that living? I remember when I was younger, like having this hope that, like, yeah, I'm an adult now. Like, I can start working on ensuring that people get everything that they need, that their basic needs are met. And in doing so, by alleviating that poverty, we can start to be a generation of creatives and create a culture of America that is both vast and diverse, but also unified in the celebration of all of the different parts that make it. So, in short, the Humanity First movement is the way forward out of the two-party system that we've been fallen into as a pseudo democracy. When we add liquid democracy to the current model and allow people to delegate their voting rights on the fly to other people that they know and trust personally, we can create a fusion of democratic republic voting processes that will allow us, through cryptocurrencies and other tracking sorts of things, to create a democracy dollars program. I had been working on my own similar democracy dollars program, and it's a very viable idea, as is universal basic income in general. But um, the most important thing that I really think that we need to really focus on is the value added taxes that need to be implemented on a global scale to all IP that is transferred, like all your Steam games that you buy, every like Xbox Live game, every Sony, like basically every video game. If there was a 10% VAT on that, as well as a 10% VAT on all of the other exchanges of like YouTube. Like, imagine how YouTube takes their cut of the ad revenue from uh, the the core of their producers, like the people that are creators. They get a fraction, as I understand it, of the actual ad revenue, and YouTube takes the majority because they say that they're operating the infrastructure, even though they're actually doing very little work on the individual micro level. On the macro level, they're reaping all of the benefits from the micro contributors. And in that process, when we do that, it isolates the wealth to the top. And with a 10% redistribution to every citizen of the earth that would elevate and alleviate poverty of all of the people that are at the bottom of the barrel, like of just the most impoverished people would be lifted out of poverty overnight. Their lives would be transformed immediately. And as it would work its way up, uh, people of lesser poverty levels would also start to notice. And as more would be brought on, it would raise up everyone with this whole 10% model and idea. Imagine if we just thought of everything that we created, like what if 10% of our profit, no matter what we did, went to everyone else in the world? So you knew whatever you created, like one tenth, one tithe, like the tithe or the tenth of a dime of your dollar would go to literally everyone, including yourself, like in a small, tiny fraction and portion. And if we managed this sort of mutual aid fund, then we could easily lift people out of poverty. I've experimented with this in very small ways with cryptocurrencies and being able to create cash flow and philanthropy ventures that have had varying success, not on par with universal basic income because these are just small cash amounts to help people out of binds that I meet or know. But it's not supposed to be any kind of like bragging there. Just this is how I've tried to change the world. And a lot of times I'm very saddened because I'm just, like Andrew Yang said, pouring like an eyedropper into a bathtub. I don't even have a cup of water. I just have like an eyedropper that I'm just dripping on like tiny wounds in society. So my new philosophy is that we need to shine a light on everything that is keeping America from being great. And when we acknowledge that within ourselves and others in a non judgmental way, in a way that's accepting and loving and wants to welcome back those that have been divided into the collective human family, that's what Humanity First is all about. That's what each one, reach one, teach one is all about. And that, lastly, is what the Indie Yang vote is all about, because we have 9 months to convert and talk to and just show videos like this to our friends and family about how we need to rectify some very serious ills in our society. And the sooner we do that, the sooner we can actually all start working on the real problems of climate change, of uh, all that other shit that's like not as big of a deal as climate change. But you know what I mean. I think I'll leave it at that. Thanks for listening. I hope that that helps clarify a little bit of where I'm at, where I'm going. I'm a teacher by craft, and I have created educational lessons to help people be prepared for the inevitability that the economy is a very fragile thing. And even though GDP is still very high and we keep pumping money into the stock market through fractional reserve banking, we are not safe, and we are not able to rely on that indefinitely. So the sooner we have sovereign economies that allow us to interact and retain value within our local microeconomic systems, is as opposed to our macroeconomic systems and the meso layers that we see through corporate entities. We need to be able to control all these things as a democratic people and decide what works for humanity first and profit second. Thanks.